What's up? What's up, everyone? This is James, and I am bowling for my life. Thank you guys so much for joining this podcast, talking about 5 things you can do to increase mental focus while on the bowling lanes and focusing on doing great scores. So, I'm still learning my software, but I'm really happy with StreamYard and everything that I've built with it so far. Definitely happy with that. But I just wanted to open up this conversation to see what you guys think about, how important mental preparedness really is when it comes to bowling, and wondering if you guys have had for yourself a process in which you carry out your pre-shot routines, your mental thought processes when you're out on the lanes, focusing on what exactly you need to do to be successful out there. And what I have learned over time is bowling is so much more mental than people give credit for. And that is something that is just, it's mind blowing when you really look at in depth how much more mental focus it takes to be at a higher level. And, a lot of my research that I've been doing over time has been to figure out ways to create opportunities to be better at mental preparation, focusing on how important is a pre-shot routine. I've went through periods of time where I'll do a pre-shot routine, and then there's times where I just kind of get up there and throw it, and you would be astounded at the overall repeatability and in just being able to just go in there and repeat shots. I mean, it's night and day. And a lot of people wouldn't think that. They'll think all these different things as to why they would be good or not good in a specific way. But we're going to talk about 5 things you guys should be working on, things that I've been working on through my research and all the time I've been putting in, learning more about mental preparedness and just making sure we fully understand together how can we help you, how can I help you get to that next level when it comes to focusing on how to manifest the scores you're wanting to bowl, how to manifest the successes out on the lanes, how to get yourself prepared to start going into tournament play. Okay, so, and that's what I've been working on, because there was a lot of foundational things that I needed to work on that I haven't perfected yet, and I feel like I've gotten really close now, and I'm really ready to go in and start focusing more on tournament play. But it starts with 5 mental foundations that you've got to have. Now, the first mental thing you should always have in your mind is you can win. If you come in from a beta perspective, if you come in from like a beta angle, whether it's bowling league, tournaments, pot bowling, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're coming into the situation from a beta angle, then you're not going to be successful. You have to come into that tournament, that league night, whatever it is, you have to be coming into that thinking you can win. And that it doesn't matter who's there, who it doesn't matter who you're bowling, it doesn't matter how you've done 17 years ago, 10 years ago, 10 days ago, and it doesn't matter what you're trying to do. What matters is that you're 100% in belief that you are the best bowler in that bowling alley and that you're going to execute shots. Because the reason why I say you need to think this way is because if you're not grounding yourself in the belief system that you are your best self, then you are going to have second thoughts and doubts about your abilities, and you're going to be fixated on the fear instead of fixated on focusing on the next tactic and process to get you to the next level, to get you focused on, what else do I need to do right now, this moment, to be successful. And then instead of living in fear, you're living in the focus of what's my next tactic, what's my next move. So that's number one. You got to have mental strength and belief in yourself. Confidence 1000% is number one. You've got to have the confidence no matter what. It doesn't even matter if you try to say to yourself, well, James, I'm being realistic. I'm not as good as Tom Daugherty, or I'm not as good as Colin Champion, or I'm not as good as Christian Ascona. It doesn't matter. I know I could beat any three of those guys, but I better bring my A game and I better be focused. If I know which ball to throw and I know where I need to be, I can give them a run for their money. And then from that point, it's execution. So many people are going to put those three individuals, or just in general, a PBA bowler, or someone who's incredibly, just incredibly gifted and rewarded in their industry, being a professional bowler, having major titles and all this. People are going to put that individual on a pedestal. But those same people, and I know one, and Colin could probably attest to this, can go out and shoot 630 in league and then go bowl the Weber Cup. So it's important that you guys do not put people on pedestals. That mental focus and mental belief that you can beat anybody at any time on any day has to be the foundation of your mental belief systems. Number two, you need to mentally feel confident in the bowling balls you're bringing, and you need to know what each of them do. Being people that come to the bowling alley with lots of anxiety most likely are bringing a lot of anxiety from different things that, whether it's work or, personal things, and also bringing a lot of anxiety because you really don't know your equipment. You really don't, you have a lower self-esteem about yourself when it comes to bowling, and you have to know your equipment. Being confident also crosses with being prepared. If you do not feel like you're prepared and you're not aware of your anxious state because you need to be prepared, and you're not preparing yourself, that's another reason why you are leaving a lot of pins out on the lanes, is being mentally prepared and knowing what equipment you have, what shapes they make, and when to throw them. And most of you are going to say, well, I don't know when to throw them. Well, it's real simple. We can talk more about that later. But first, you need to know what ball hooks the earliest, which ball hooks the latest. I mean, that's a good starting point. Which ball's in your bag is going to hook as soon as it comes off your hand, and which one goes down the lane the furthest. And then being able to put them in order in your mind, whether or not you look at it that way. I mean, the professionals typically look at things in regards to shapes, whether it's this shape or it's that shape or it's that shape, different shapes. What is the lane asking for, and what do I have that can create that shape? That's the high level professional that's thinking that way. But for you individuals who are just learning ball motion shapes and things like that and wants to improve their game, you really need to be thinking about which ball hooks the soonest and which one hooks the latest, which one has the most angle, which one is more continuous, which one is just, smooth arcing. Being able to know those things makes you confident. And that's why number two, you should always know your equipment, be confident in your equipment and the shapes they create. Okay. Number three is self awareness. Number three is self awareness. You have to be self aware of things that trigger you. For example, giving yourself time to get prepared when you get to the bowling alley. Some people, they show up late. They don't give themselves enough time to mentally prepare, making sure they're running through their checklists. Is the thumb right? Is the finger grips feel good? Am I walking into this bowling alley with anything other than the focus of shooting a 900 tonight? Being being mentally prepared and not bringing in a lot of excess emotion and excess uh, things externally into your bowling will allow you to become a human like machine. And that's really what's important, guys, is that mentally you need to put yourself in a place where you're not thinking about the past and you're not trying to think about the future, but you're in the moment, you're giving yourself to the moment, and you're focusing on each shot and making good shots. But you got to make sure everything feels right. Some people, they got to wear a certain shirt, a certain pair of socks, maybe even certain underwear. It could be anything, whatever it is. Eating a certain food before you go bowling, or drinking a specific type of beverage, whatever it is, you want to not make it the end of the day if you didn't have it, but you also want to try when you walk into the bowling alley, staying present and being as repetitious and as machine like as possible. And for some people, that's hard because, and I talked to Joe about this, about some of his successes and things, and some of our failures together that we've had. And that's, you cannot allow yourself to enjoy your successes. And that's really a big part of, that's probably number four. As we kind of progress from, it's a discussion of five things, but it's kind of overlapping. So you can go into that bowling alley. You're a machine. You're coming in to shoot 900. You're focused. You're going to shoot 300. You're going to throw 36 strikes in a row. And in your mind, you have to stay in the present. You can't look at how many strikes you have. You can look, but you cannot understand and try to fathom what it is you're doing. You really have to go into that situation as a machine, as a focused, present machine of just motivation and ambition to throw as many strikes as you can. And the thing is, everyone else around you gets to enjoy it, but you. And that sometimes can be very frustrating for some people because you're not allowed to celebrate your successes until the job is done. And even then, you shouldn't. You can celebrate, but you need to get the chip back on your shoulder pretty quick. And that's where I really encourage a lot of people to try to manage that dopamine hit and that excitatory response after bowling the best they've ever bowled or whatever. And turning it into more of like a machined process of being able to just repeat, come in and week out with the same type of mental aptitude, the same type of mental just focus, the same type of repetitious movements, the same type of process. And what happens is you'll start to groove yourself into this pattern of behavior where you're just making excellent shots constantly. And you're in this groove. That's how I envision it. So you're in like this groove and you're just right there and you're just making great shots. So it's more. Some people are like, James, I don't really care about all this shit because I'm here for one reason, and that's to drink beer and bowl and have fun. It is fun, but being in the process, some people can do it better than others. But sometimes just you can still be social and be in the process. And for some who get really serious, and I know that I've done this, I've been both ways. I have personally have done things both ways. The more some people need the communication with others to help get rid of anxiousness. Sometimes I would find myself being able to um, sit by myself, like in the back of the bowling alley or something, and just be. Sometimes it doesn't help when you isolate yourself. And then sometimes when you're up there with your team and you're watching your guys bowling and you're cheering them on and you're kind of in that energy and you're kind of helping bring the team up and you're really pushing them and you're really sometimes that helps alleviate excess anxiety where some people sit at the back of the lanes, and I've done this, I've done both, that's why I'm making this statement, is sometimes you lock yourself up and you start because you're sitting back there by yourself, you have more opportunities to think about other things that may not help you be your best. So that's kind of like number 2. It's a lot of shit. And I'm not good with structure when it comes to doing videos. Like I could just give you 5 tips and then be out of here. But unfortunately, with my ADHD and my weirdness and creativity, I just want to elaborate on everything I talk about because if someone watches this and it helps you, then that's important to me. So, number 1 is mentally coming up, or no, sorry, number 5 is mentally coming up with an excellent pre shot routine. It can even be a pre day routine. Pre shot, for me, I don't have necessarily a pre day routine. I have a routine that starts around 3 p.m. on league days. If it's a tournament, it's always 3 hours before I leave. There's a routine I go through. It's you know, focusing and envisioning my goals for the day, thinking about what things do I need to work on to be successful. What things what things am I going to anticipate at this bowling alley. Now that at that point though, you don't want to sit there and come up with a whole bunch of negative thoughts, but you want to be mentally prepared, looking at your notes, looking at your what you have available to you, and you should be taking notes and have information accessible so that you feel ready to go. And I have a 3-hour routine before leaving and it involves taking a shower. It involves me sometimes listening to different types of motivational YouTube videos. Sometimes it's just educating myself on understanding the mental approach of being in the zone. I'll watch TED Talks about sports performance and things like that. Kind of helps me in my mind put myself in the right place so that I'm um, focusing on hitting whatever canal has the most potential in what it is I'm trying to achieve that night on the lanes. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to do. So, um, and having that pre-shot routine. So it's a pre-day routine all the way out to the actual moment where you're bowling. You need to do everything almost exactly the same. That is so underrated. It's so, in general, people do not understand how important that one thing is. From the moment you step into the bowling circle, when your feet touch the bowling circle, and you're on your approach to make a shot, you need to do almost every single thing the same, provided that you have a great pre shot routine. But, for me, a lot of times I have my little beanbag in my hand. I put it on I put it on the screen or the little keypad, and I look at the lane and I look at the rack adjustment. I look and see if there's any pins offset, things like that, because I may need to adjust how I throw the ball for that particular rack. I'll reach down and pick up my ball and I look at it and I see my track lines if there is any. It just depends on how quickly the ball absorbs it. I look at that and I just kind of dry my hand off and I'm just focused on being in the moment. And then once I get on the lane, the brain turns off. You should not be actively thinking when you're on the wood. You at that point, you do all that preparation. You have all this time outside of the moment, that 35 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever, when you put your feet on the wood. You have all that time beforehand to think, to analyze, to put yourself in the right spots, to mentally prepare and all that bullshit. When you step on the wood 36 times a night, provided you shoot a 900, your brain gets shut off and your physiological body will take over at that point. Guys, you got to do that. You have to do that. You have to allow your mind to shut off. Put your body in charge. Put your feet where they need to go. But once you're at that moment of that you're about to take your first step, shut everything off and just stare at that mark or that shape or whatever visual path you've created in your mind, what you're looking at, and just everything is about hitting that mark. You're It's kind of like when you throw a baseball or a football and you look at someone and your goal is to throw it right at that person. I can guarantee you when you're going to throw the ball, you're not thinking about your feet. You're not thinking about someone's watching you. I guarantee you when you throw the football and a baseball or a ball in general, you take the ball, you just do it, right? You don't think about, oh, did my arm go back enough or how am I holding it in my hand? No, you don't do that. But people, for some reason, in bowling do that. But if you were throwing a baseball or a football to somebody, you don't even think about it. You look at your intended target, you take the ball, and you throw it at your intended target, and you follow through at your target. Same process, just bowling. It's different. It's the same process, just different sport. And if you do those things, I would say that you guys will be very successful. Is understanding these 5 mental approaches and also some mental slash physical preparedness approaches that'll help you guys focus on being better, being more focused, being more capable of repeating shots. Because it's not always that someone has a form or a, like there's people that throw the ball beautiful, that have these really pretty forms. But then if their mind ain't prepared and their mind ain't focused, those guys, even with their perfect form, will throw the ball all over the place. So it's really, I mean, form does give you a little bit of a competitive edge, because if you have a good delivery, your arm swings in the slot, and you got all these things, all these mechanical things figured out, it should be technically easier for you to make good shots. But if you're not mentally focused and mentally just putting yourself in the moment and anticipating and putting yourself mentally in that motivation to hit that spot, to hit that target, and to throw a strike, it doesn't matter. So put more emphasis on concentration and focus and less on the insecurities and things you have going on around you, and you'll be a much better bowler. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This broadcast was just me doing um, using my Brio for the first time. I have light kits coming in, so I'm gonna have lighting, so it's gonna help kind of make things look a lot better for me when I'm on these podcasts and helping you guys out. And listen, all these things that I share with you guys, I do the same thing. So I don't share information that I don't do myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, concerns, or just want to know more about something I'm talking about, like I said, at the end of the day, it's better to share information with people and provide insight than it is to just not. I mean, there's so many people out here, especially in Florida, who are capable of teaching and helping, and a lot of people are just too selfish with their time. They don't want to help anybody, and that's where I enjoy providing information and knowledge to people who maybe are seeking information. And also sometimes it's just me talking about specific things that get your brain rolling. For someone who's trying to find that edge, just something I might say might trigger something. And that's, I just want to be contributing to, other than the things that I do. I want to contribute to help bowlers be better, to help you guys think about things differently, to help you guys look at maybe certain aspects of your game that you didn't know existed, and helping you guys really focus in your mind, what things you can do to change perceptions or change mental approach, whatever it is. So those things will help you guys. So thank you so much for watching. And I'm still getting over this nasal infection or whatever the hell it is. Um, yeah, I see that, Joe. Open the shoulder. Yeah, keeping your target lines open, keeping your body in the right position. But it's not always just that. It's just making sure you're not gripping the ball too hard. You know, and that's the thing, is a lot of people will try to checklist all of that shit while they're standing up on the lanes, and you can't do that. You just have to have that feel when you're up there, and not overthink it. You just have to put yourself in the right positions and the right angles. If you know that you have a tendency to keep your shoulders closed, just have certain things built into your system to where you can anticipate whether or not you're open enough to your target line or not. And then just feel things like making sure your thumb fits right on the ball, making sure your tape fits right on the ball. I got to roll 500 pieces. I'll show you guys. You might not be able to see it though. That right there, that's 500 pieces of tape right there. Got my workout tools, got my bevel. I got it all right there. You know what I mean? So I do not use the same tape twice, especially now that I got the big roll. I'm going to take all the tape out of my ball, and 2 hours to 1 hour before I leave the bowling alley or before I leave the house, I'm going to make sure that tape fits perfect. Every day, feel is different. You can always recreate the feel. Someone say, "Oh, I don't want to take that tape out." Thank you. Makes me want to get back into competition. That's right. Now to get back on that tape, talking about tape. If you get into the habit of taking tape out of your ball and putting tape in every time you bowl, and if anybody's ever watched John Janowitz, he almost does that every time. If you watch him prepare, he's always putting tape in and out of his ball before he starts bowling. He does a lot of things, but that's one thing he does that's relevant to what we're talking about at this moment. And you should be doing the same thing because feel day in and day out changes. Your hands, guys, change every single day. Okay, so sometimes your hand swells up a little bit more. Sometimes you eat some Mexican food and you retain water, your hands are going to swell up a little bit more or whatever. So it's important that your feel, everything is premium. So, but that's pretty much all I had to share today. I just wanted to see, look at that. Joe, change your tape every night. Just try it. Change your tape every night and see what happens. These little things, it doesn't hurt to try it. But you want to try doing that because it'll allow you to have the opportunity to because you could put a piece of tape in a certain spot on your thumb. You could put a piece of tape on a certain spot. You put your hand in that ball and you're like, oh my God. I've done it many times. I'm like, I put my hand in the ball and I'm like, it's like, but then like you put a piece of tape here and then you put a piece of tape there and you kind of like, this is the hole. And you're putting the tape in the right spot and you're like, you put your hand in the ball and you're like, yes. Guys, it's so true. If you really take your time, put tape in the ball every night before you bowl. Take all the tape out and put new tape in. It's cheap. 500 roll. I got it off Amazon right there. 500 roll. It's right there. See that? That's it. 1 inch, half inch, 3/4 inch, whatever. Get tape. Redo your tape every single time you bowl a tournament, a league, open bowling, doesn't matter. Get in the habit. Create that perfect feel. You put your hand in the ball, it's like, oh my God. That's how you do it. Well, guys, my throat's killing me. So I'm going to get off this podcast. Hopefully you guys are starting to enjoy these a little bit more because I got better equipment. I got a new laptop coming. I got this real high-end microphone set up. I could technically go on YouTube and stream from YouTube like I did the other day. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of tape. Take 5 pieces out and just put a piece in and feel it. Put another piece in, feel it. Whatever. Some people have 7, 8 pieces. Just take 3 of them out, 4 of them. Me, I typically have 3 to 4 pieces of tape, and I move them around because I'm creating that perfect feel. It's like perfect. You put your hand in, you're like locked in. Not too. You know what I mean. So on a roll. So guys, I need to make another video for Florida Scratch Bowlers Tour. But I want to go ahead and promote Hall of Fame Pro Shop inside Oakfield Lanes. Please, if you have any desire to be better than you are, go to Hall of Fame Pro Shop. The reason why is these guys bowl week in and week out all over the state, all over the country, and all over the world. And the guys in that shop know what the hell they're doing. They're relevant. They're bowling at the on the highest stages, and these guys know their shit. So please check out Hall of Fame Pro Shop. And also for this video, I would like to play another commercial of our sponsor, also known as the person that owns this company, for True Grit Coatings. And if you guys have any type of flooring needs that are resin based, like epoxy flooring, polyaspartic flooring, polyurethane flooring, anything like that, please do not hesitate to reach out to us to get that done. So I'm going to play that now for you. All right, so thank you guys so much. I'm going to start doing ball reviews. That's why I'm waiting for all my stuff to come in. I got a real high-end camera coming in, not just for webcamming, but I might be using my phone. I got 4K 60 frames per second on this phone. I might start using this in doing ball reviews of balls that I drill. And, just doing different things just because, all these things help you drive in the information you're trying to learn. By being active in these types of things helps you learn more. It puts you in a position to always be focusing on learning more about your sport as well as about equipment. So if I do ball reviews, it helps people learn more about balls that they can use in tournaments and league and different things like that. But then it allows me to learn more about cover stocks and through the process of doing research. So that's where it all is beneficial. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please go back and watch this video. I'm all over the place. I know it. I got ADHD and I'm very just, if I have an idea, I'm going to run with it. So hopefully this video provided you guys 5 solid mental things to be prepared for when bowling tournaments or league. 5 things to really think about. It's actually 5, but more like 8. I said 5, but I actually gave like 8 or 9 things that you really want to be thinking about in preparation to every night that you bowl. And this is for people who really want to be like the top 5 people in your league, top 5 people in your tournaments. These are the types of things you need to be doing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe. Oh yeah, I'll be ready. I'm going to be bowling that tournament for sure. There's no reason why I wouldn't, especially that much money we're putting in. And I'm going to get back out there, guys. I haven't bowled really any tournaments in a long time because I've been working on a lot of things, working on a lot of mental things, and doing a lot of things for myself to get myself ready. Because if you don't know your equipment, and why the hell are you out there bowling tournaments? You need to know from a static level what your equipment does. You need to have a good 15. I mean, if you're a semi-pro or a higher level competitive bowler, you need to have 15 good shapes in your bag or more. Just depends on how well you are at interpreting shapes. But you need to have like 15 shapes in your arsenal to where when you go out to a tournament, you bring all your balls with you and you bring in, 9 that you feel are pretty close to what it is you're going to deal with, and then have, the other 6 for just in case scenarios. So I have that. I got 12, 13, 14, 15, I got 17 different bowling balls with different shapes. Some of some of them overlap a little bit because I'm looking for subtle reaction changes. Like for example, I'll show you guys here. See if you can see this. So like I got that dark code, and then right next to it's the RSTX2. So the dark code's going to get up a little sooner, but it's got the same surface as the RSTX2. I finished them both the same. But the dark code's going to give me just a little bit more smooth, rounded look because it does have a higher differential. So it's going to, and its RGs are a little bit lower. So that ball is going to roll a little sooner and a little smoother. And then when I really want to kick it and I really want to get after it, throw that RSTX2, I can move in and swing the whole damn lane if I need to. So these are just different shapes, and then down there on your, ball rack, I got fucking 4 or 5 urethanes because if you're a left-hander, you got to have some urethanes. All right, y'all, go take a nap. No, I'm not gonna nap this time. Sometimes I do that, but I got to bed late last night. I was working on ball stuff and watching dark code ball reviews and stuff. So I didn't go to bed till about 4 a.m. Watching ball review stuff and working on things, and I'm always tinkering. I also drilled Dad a new bowling ball, which most of you probably wouldn't give a shit about, but I drilled this one 6 1/4 inch pen to PAP, so that ball is going to really lay down, and I hope that he'll be able to throw this. And if this layout really seems to be the right layout for him, then we'll drill other equipment to kind of build an arsenal out from there. But that's the RSTX2. I drilled him one last week, and now I got another one. He will throw it. He will throw it. He just has to know the ball isn't going to snap off the lane. And what he's throwing right now really isn't. He's making it work, but he's not giving himself overall the best consistency to strike week in and week out. He needs to focus on trying to get into finding the better layouts and getting into equipment that's stronger, more continuous, more consistent, where he could actually move a little bit straighter, and then be able to take advantage of what the lane has to offer instead of playing 45 and swinging it all the way to 5 with a ball that's $130. There's so many rooms for error there. I mean, there's just so many potential errors that could happen, and he needs to tighten his lines up. Like there's so many pin down balls that I put together for him. But we're working it out. I have no problem with drilling more balls. We're just going to drill until we find the right layout that just really gives him that comfort, where I can get the ball to lay down because he's very rev dominant. And then from there, it's off to the races. So, love you guys. I enjoyed this podcast. Hopefully, you guys learned a lot from this podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share. Let me see if I can put it up. I just finished designing this deal. Longer. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to let you guys go. Stay classy, San Diego. Bye.